What's on the agenda today? Money matters for wise financial benefits.
There will always be a rainy day, and you need to plan for that rainy day, and you need to plan for your retirement.
Plus, an emergency skill that may be required at any time.
Cardiac arrest can happen to anyone at any time. In the event that happens, you need to know the skills that you need to perform to revive these persons.
Hello and welcome to Jamaica Magazine, the program that informs and educates. I'm Adrian Atkinson. So glad you could join us.
Jamaica's COVID-19 vaccination plan is still in effect. If you wish to make an appointment, please do so online by visiting moh.gov.jm or by calling 888-663-5683. Vaccination still a keep. Go get your jab today.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, February 3, 2022. Government will be scaling up the number of indigent houses provided through the new social housing program, NSHP. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement on Wednesday as he pointed out that there was an estimated 10,000 Jamaicans living in conditions considered well below standard. He says government has already sorted out the administrative, technical and construction issues and is now ready to expand the NSHP to reach even more of these families whose homes are uninhabitable.
In the next budget iteration, which would start in April of next year, we're going to be a little bit more ambitious with what we can do, and we will be incorporating new building modalities. So some of the solutions that were brought to us in the housing design competition, which used alternative materials such as containers and other types of designs, will be deployed. So the housing solutions that we will use may not always be block and steel. There may be other designs. So we will be able to bring the cost down, but increase the number of housing solutions.
The Prime Minister was addressing a ceremony on Wednesday to hand over 2 housing units in the constituency of Northeast St. Andrew. Shirley Leon and Lloyd Edwards are the latest beneficiaries, and theirs are among 46 units that have so far been completed under the new social housing program. Another 26 units are under construction. Mr. Holness used the occasion to appeal for private sector partnerships to build more of these homes for vulnerable Jamaicans.
So there is an opportunity for the private sector who would want to fulfill their corporate social responsibility. Who knows, they may have a factory or a store in an area, and they know of a family or two who are living in really deplorable conditions and they would want to help. Well, there is this program, the new social housing program.
59 of these 60 sites in Phase 1 and 2 of government's Community Wi-Fi initiative have been established. The remaining 130 sites are expected to be completed by March 31 of this year. Technology Minister Darrell Vaz says the ministry remains committed to increasing the number of public Wi-Fi hotspots by 7 additional sites.
These sites are at varying stages of implementation, and I'm pleased to report that we're on track to meet this target, and Jamaica will have a total of 20 public Wi-Fi hotspots across the country by March 31st.
Minister Vaz was addressing Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives. He revealed that, to date, the ministry has completed 7 new community access points across the island and has provided connectivity to 3 sites in support of the disabled community. Additionally, the Phase 1 community Wi-Fi site of Facey District in northeastern St. Catherine has been retendered. The Ministry of Finance and the Public Service has commenced a series of stakeholder meetings on the public sector wage restructuring review, which is slated to begin April 1. Portfolio Minister Dr. Nigel Clark told the House of Representatives on Tuesday that all bargaining groups representing government employees were engaged last week and provided with an overview of what is to come.
We will continue those consultations, but in smaller groups, maybe on an individual bargaining group basis, or groups that are similarly aligned and small in size. We might consider them together. We'll speak to members, get parliamentarians together, get whoever is paid, whoever can be considered a public servant. We intend to reach out with information and to engage in ensuring people understand the principles behind the restructuring and what to expect.
The review is intended to overhaul the structure of salaries and other emoluments in the public service to make them more equitable. Implementation of the public sector compensation review is expected during the 2022-2023 fiscal year. Minister of Science, Energy and Technology Darrell Vaz says petroleum tanker drivers are set to benefit from a rate increase. He was speaking in Parliament on Tuesday. Minister Vaz says that since 2013, wage negotiations between the Petroleum Tanker Drivers Association, PTDA, and the Petroleum Haulage Contractors Association, PHCA, have been blocked because of the disbanding of the PHCA. He says this led to the establishment of the Joint Petroleum Working Group, JPWG, in October of last year to improve economic conditions for the tanker drivers and draft a safety driver manual to improve training and upskilling.
This group was mandated to finalize recommendations for a minimum economic rate and related improvements to the employment conditions of petroleum tanker drivers.
The minister says the JPWG agreed on a minimum economic rate of $1,000 per hour based on the industry norms in relation to hazardous materials and risk factors. This represents a 270% increase in relation to the lowest rate paid to tanker drivers, which equates to about $370 per hour, or the equivalent of $14,640 for a 40-hour work week. Minister Vaz says the agreed haulage contractor and tanker driver rates were translated from hourly rates to a per litre per trip basis to take into consideration distance covered and volumes transported. And finally, the Jamaica Tourist Board, JTB, is supporting the Jamaica bobsleigh team's participation in this year's Winter Olympics with a sponsorship of $20,000. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett made the announcement during a recent virtual joint press conference between the JTB and the Jamaica Bobsleigh and Skeleton Federation. He says at the upcoming games, to be held in Beijing, a shining spotlight will be on the bobsleigh athletes, and they will serve as Jamaica's ambassadors to the world, bringing additional positive awareness for Jamaica among viewers and sports fans. The minister also disclosed that a new tourism product is to be launched that will rely heavily on sport and entertainment. He says sport tourism is going to be a critical pillar on which this new tourism is going to be based. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
To properly carry out a hand rub, apply a palmful of the product in your cupped hand, covering all surfaces. Rub your hands palm to palm. Rub your right palm over the back of your left hand with interlaced fingers and vice versa. Rub your hands palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back of your fingers to opposing palms with fingers interlocked. Rotationally rub backwards and forwards the clasped fingers of your right hand in your left palm and vice versa. Once your hands are dry, they are now safe.
If you are practicing good money management, putting aside savings and investing where possible, then you're on the path of being financially secure. However, if these are not working out for you the way they should, here's a reminder to get you back on track.
What is a budget? How do I open an account? When I put my money in the bank, is it really safe? Financially literate citizens know the importance of money management, savings, and investing. Hello, I'm Daniel Pasley and welcome to Finance Matters. In today's episode, I'll be talking to the Director of Stakeholder Engagement, Communication and International Relations at the Financial Services Commission, Mr. David Geddes. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow the Ministry of Finance on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to see all the episodes and highlights. Welcome, Mr. Geddes, for coming on the program.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here, Daniel.
Now, what does financial literacy mean to you?
Financial literacy means that you are equipped with the knowledge and skill sets to manage your financial assets. Means that you understand that there are certain things you need to do. You need to have a bank account in order to do transactions, to be a part of the economy. You need to insure your assets as you get them. And you need to create wealth so that you can plan for retirement. When you understand and are committed to that, then you are financially literate.
But a man on the street might hear this and say, boy, this sounds very difficult and for persons in middle class and upper class, so why should it be important to me?
Definitely not. Everybody is there's going to come a time in everybody's life when they have to retire. So let's look at that first. Retirement planning. The minute that you start to earn any money, you should be considering how you are going to retire, when you're going to retire, and the lifestyle that you wish to experience when you're retired. So you have to plan for that. So you put away money each month, either in a pension or an approved retirement scheme, and you ensure that you have money in your later years.
Now, what is the role of the Financial Services Commission in educating the Jamaican citizens about financial literacy?
Okay, the Financial Services Commission, FSC. First of all, we regulate and supervise the securities industry, that's like the stock market, the insurance industry, whether health, life insurance, general insurance, and also private pensions. So it is critical for us to promote financial literacy. We start with the very young. We have a school's financial education program, and that is in high secondary schools across the island, where we teach the children how to budget, understanding credit, how to create wealth, and also how to plan for retirement. These are necessary skills so that as soon as you enter the workforce, you are able to plan for your future, not just going day by day and hoping for the best. There will always be a rainy day, and you need to plan for that rainy day, and you need to plan for your retirement.
We've been experiencing a crisis, so to speak. COVID-19 is here for over a year now. And I'm sure that there were some financial theories that were challenged during this pandemic. Could you share some of those?
Excellent question. The fact is that the COVID pandemic has been several rainy days just continuing, and we're in the midst of it. Nobody even knows when or if there will be a post-COVID. What we have learned during this period is that the conventional wisdom of having about 3 months' salary put away, so in case of any emergency, well, we have, as you just said, we're well over a year into the pandemic, and some persons have lost their jobs, persons have had to retire early. There are a lot of different things that have happened that have just thrown things off kilter. So what we know now is that you have to plan even for the unexpected, and putting away the minimum is not good enough. You need to put away as much as possible, and you need to budget. Can't overemphasize the importance of budgeting. From you start to earn, you must budget, and included in that budget must be money for retirement and money for wealth. Persons think about just having, say, a bank account and then just drawing money from that. You need an account also that you're actually using to create wealth, and also you need a stream of funds for that rainy day that you can access. So you're thinking about creating wealth, you're thinking about a rainy day emergency fund, and you're also thinking about retirement planning.
So basically you have a diverse portfolio.
Most definitely, and that's part of being financially literate, that the knowledge and skill set to get that diverse set of accounts.
So hit it home for me. Give me some practical tips of how we can manage our finances.
Well, first of all, if you create a budget and separate your wants from your needs, that's a very first step. There are things that you may want. You may want to go to a party. You may want to get this new outfit. You may want to rent a car for a particular weekend or whatever. Those are wants, usually. Now, in terms of needs, you need to pay your rent or your mortgage.
Right.
You need to eat. These are important things. So you deal with the needs first, and then you deal with the wants. Now, for me, I like to tell persons that importantly, a need is putting away money for retirement, because you will need it down the road. So you need to put away money either in a retirement scheme or in your pension, in a pension plan. And also, the minute you start to get any assets, persons think about only insurance for their car if you own a car, because the law says you must insure your vehicle.
Right.
But if you have a home, if you even rent a place, you can actually insure the contents of the house, the furniture in the house, even if you don't own the building itself. So there's an insurance product for everybody and for all occasions, and it is important for you to insure your assets so that should something happen, you can benefit. There's even the possibility of insuring against a loss of income. And, persons on, say, the Rio Grande in Portland doing rafting, my home parish, by the way, they may lose their rafts in a storm.
Yeah.
You can get microinsurance for that. And
let's talk about microinsurance. Just explain.
Microinsurance, okay, normally you get paid monthly.
Right.
You would pay that premium monthly to an insurance company. Microinsurance is set for persons, vulnerable persons in the society, for instance, farmers, rafts persons, those persons who get money in a sporadic way. So they craft a special policy for them so that they can insure their crop or they can insure their rafts, and should something happen, they get that money. And also there are limits on the policy value for microinsurance, and that's further information is available on our website www.fscjamaica.org. So persons can get information on that there,
and also on your social media pages as well.
And our social media pages at FSC Jamaica. Yes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Geddes, for coming on the program and sharing us some critical lessons about financial literacy.
It was a pleasure to be here.
I hope everyone is taking notes. I want to thank Mr. Geddes for sharing his insights and lessons that we no doubt found useful. And thank you for joining us for another episode of Finance Matters. Follow us on social media at MOF Jamaica. And of course, tune in next week as we continue to demystify the economic and fiscal policies and initiatives implemented by the government of Jamaica to empower Jamaicans as we chart a path to Jamaica's economic prosperity.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
I only way of celebrating it. They say the people them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, burn up, them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal, panta fight, you know.
Medal.
Amount of tongue we give them, you know.
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
If you download the app to get the updates then.
Up next, a critical life-saving skill that we all need to learn: cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR.
Oscar! Oscar! Oscar!
Though this is a dramatization, it has happened quite often. In the field, at home, or at work, a loved one collapses and is unresponsive. What follows? Usually chaos, confusion, heartache. Instead of immediately providing that critical resuscitation technique which may prevent death.
CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It is a skill that is an emergency skill that is used to revive someone whose heart has stopped beating. Cardiac arrest can happen to anyone at any time. In the event that happens, you need to know the skills that you need to perform to revive these persons or give these persons a chance of survival.
We never know when we can really in a situation where we need to help someone else. It's really just a little bit of your time, and I think it would be a worthwhile investment in learning these skills so we can render assistance.
Even when someone is choking, the techniques learned in CPR may be applied to save that person from asphyxiation. To release the person's airway, position yourself behind them and clasp your fist at the navel and roll in an upward motion. When someone is unresponsive, that's a whole other ballgame. The person may become unresponsive for several reasons. For instance, they could have a medical condition. To really know if someone is unresponsive and in need of CPR,
tap the person's shoulder and shout, "Sir, sir, sir," or "Ma'am, are you okay?" Once the person is not responding to you, and they can respond in several forms. They can answer by moaning, they can groan, they can open their eyes, they can move a limb. If the person is not responding to you, now you need to scan the chest and look if you see breathing. Once the person is not breathing, their terms as being unresponsive. So once you have somebody collapsing, the first thing you need to do is check your environment, ensure that your environment is safe for you. Once the environment is safe, now you need to assess the person who has collapsed. Once someone is unresponsive, has no signs of life, call for help and bare the person's chest. So you remove their upper garment. Find your hand position, it's on the lower half, center of the chest, lower half of the breastbone, and you push in 30 times at the Bee Gees song, that's Staying Alive. Ha, 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 Staying Alive. If you are trained, after 30 compressions, you can give 2 breaths. If you are not trained, you don't know about CPR, you give hands-only CPR. So hands-only CPR is where you compresses the chest. You need to continue that on the way to the hospital, so you're maintaining cell's life.
It's possible for anyone and everyone to learn CPR.
Nannies, construction workers, teachers, lawyers, doctors, everyone should learn CPR. Once you're able-bodied, you can learn CPR.
In terms of age, it's said as young as 12 years old can learn the art to save a life.
So many times, children get in situations that they need assistance. In fact, a cousin of mine, her son got into some distress. She realized that he wasn't breathing one day, and she was able to help him by giving him CPR. So I think that was really important that she had those skills so that she could assist her son, because who knows what would have happened if she wasn't able to give him that immediate assistance.
This course, I've done it before, and I find it very interested because I work a lot with children, and one time I have to do a CPR on a little boy because there was leave under my care and mother wasn't around, and he was eating some plum and playing on like plum seed, stabbing his throat, and I just hear him coughing, but it never very severe because he was coughing. So when he was coughing, I hold him up and I try to do a little, I understand the CPR, tell him to cough. And he cough and cough until it actually come up.
I had a patient once, and while I was there in the bathroom with that person, the person just fell unconscious, and I was there, didn't know exactly what to do, but I was there saying, "Sir, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I didn't know much, what to do, but I decided to put the person on the side, and I was there trying to stop the person. Then I was saying to myself, if I had known CPR well enough, I could perform it.
The Heart Foundation of Jamaica is one of the several local organizations that offer training in CPR.
The Heart Foundation of Jamaica is an authorized training center for the American Heart Association. We offer CPR training for medical and non-medical persons. We have our scheduled in-house training, and organization can call us to schedule classes at their convenience.
CPR!
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.